Okay, so hello guys. So this is the Bible study for June the 17th, and we are in First Samuel chapter 4. And this is the Philistines, and they captured the ark. Um and why they captured the ark, Israel must have gotten into something again, which I don't see how they did. It doesn't say in here. No, it just went straight into their fighting the Philistines. All right, so them fighting the Philistines, the reputation of Israel is that God always protected them, and that should be the reputation that you have. That God is always protecting you, always blessing you, always doing something in your life that lets the world know, or the people around you, that God is in your life. We should have that, what they call fruits. Okay, so let's get into First Samuel. The Philistines captured the ark. At that time, Israel was at war with the Philistines. The Israel army was camped near Ebenezer, and the Philistines were at Ephek. The Philistines attacked and defeated the army of Israel, killing 4,000 men. After the battle was over, the troops retreated to their camp, and the elders of Israel asked, "Why did the Lord allow us to be defeated by the Philistines?" Then they asked and said, "Let's bring the ark of the covenant of the Lord from Shiloh. If we carry it into battle with us, it will save us from our enemies." So they sent men to Shiloh to bring the ark of the covenant of the Lord of heaven's army, who is enthroned between the cherubim. Hophni and Phinehas, the sons of Eli, were also there with the ark of the covenant of God. When all the Israelites saw the ark of the covenant of the Lord coming into the camp, their shout of joy was so loud it made the ground shake. Wow. "What's going on?" the Philistines asked. "What's all the shouting about in the Hebrew camp?" When they were told it was because the ark of the Lord had arrived, they panicked. "The gods have come into their camp," they cried. "This is a disaster. We have never had to face anything like this before. Help! Who can save us from these mighty gods of Israel? They are the same gods who destroyed the Egyptians with plagues, and when Israel was in the wilderness, fight also was never before. Was in the wilderness. Fight as never before, Philistines. If you don't, we will become the Hebrew slaves just as they have been ours. Stand up like men and fight." So the Philistines fought desperately, and Israel was defeated again. The slaughter was great. 30,000 Israelite soldiers died. Went to sleep that day. The survivors turned and fled to their tents. The ark of God was captured, and Hophni and Phinehas, the two sons of Eli, were put to sleep. The death of Eli. A man from the tribe of Benjamin ran from the battlefield and arrived at Shiloh later that same day. He had torn his clothes and put dust on his head to show his grief. Eli was waiting beside the road to hear the news of the battle, for his heart trembled for the safety of the ark of God. When the messenger arrived and told what had happened, an outcry resounded throughout the town. "What is all the noise about?" Eli asked. The messenger rushed over to Eli, who was 98 years old and blind. He said to Eli, "I have just come from the battlefield. I was there this very day." "What happened, my son?" Eli demanded. "Israel has been defeated by the Philistines," the messenger replied. "The people have been slaughtered, and your two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, were also put to sleep, and the ark of the God has been captured." When the messenger mentioned what had happened to the ark of God, Eli fell backward from his seat beside the gate. He broke his neck and was put to sleep, for he was old and overweight. He had been Israel's judge for 40 years. Eli's daughter-in-law, the wife of Phinehas, was pregnant and near her time of delivery. When she heard that the ark of God had been captured and that her father-in-law and husband were put to sleep, she went into labor and gave birth. She cried. She cried, and she also went to sleep in childbirth. But before she passed away, the midwives tried to encourage her. "Don't be afraid," they said. "You have a baby boy." But she did not answer or pay attention to them. She named the child Ichabod, which means "where is the glory?" For she said, "Israel's glory is gone." She named him this because the ark of God had been captured and because her father-in-law and husband were put to sleep. Then she said, the glory has departed from Israel, for the ark of God has been captured. What a sad thing. But also, I was wondering, how did all this happen? But in the story, there was nothing that came up to this. It was just they just started fighting. This is what it was, because they were scared also of the shout of Israel, because the Ark of the Covenant was there. So that riled them up, the Philistines, I mean. And so this is interesting. So tomorrow we'll find out more, probably more about how all of this started, because it was nothing before that. That was, a predictor of what was about to happen. But anyway, even though word did come to the camp, Israel did survive, because they were surrounded, even as today, by a great group of people that could wipe them out instantly. And somehow they never did just wipe them completely out. The Lord never let them wipe them completely out. So even today we have to pray for Israel. I don't know how some people feel about Israel, but I guess the Lord trumps everything you're thinking. So the Lord says, pray for Israel. Now, if you think they're doing something wrong, you pray for the leaders, that they have the mind of Christ. And that's the way you go with that. Because to pray against Israel at this point, this whole Bible and the thread of it is about Israel, which we have been grafted into. So you should pray for what you belong into, for what you are being grafted into. We're not adopted. We are the children of God. God has let us come in. That is a glorious thing. So pray for Israel, and pray for what you think is wrong with Israel, if that's the case. But definitely don't be against Israel, because that'll be against God. So anyway, may God bless you and keep you, and may his face shine upon you and give you his peace, and also grant you the desires of your heart that's in his will. All right. Think bigger thoughts this year. We're going into the end, the second half of the game this year, meaning that we're like 6 months in. Bless God, for you still have your miracle time to come through. You still have time for your miracle. All right. May God bless you. Have a great night.